This is lighter, and then it gets real dark. Belly button area, it gets real dark over here. But you can, it's just, there's a gradient of sweat. Say welcome to Stahl Racing. Say welcome to Stahl Racing vlog. Why? You say words good. Yeah, I can live with that. Welcome to Stahl Racing vlog. KRA number 9 on a very hot day. Just sitting here and sweating. But at least there's a little breeze, that helps somewhat. Got my man Finley here on my lap. Wearing his adorable Spidey jammies. He just woke up. He slept late. This intro is coming super late in the day. Dad's already qualified. My qualifying is coming up soon. We had a busy morning trying to fix my brakes. I needed to shim the brake pads, but we didn't have a thick enough shim, so we had to repurpose a different brake shim, and so it took a long time because it wasn't purpose made. So finally worked through that, snuck out there in a practice to test it out, and I think we're good to go. So I'll be qualifying here soon, and hopefully I can carry the speed I had yesterday in practice.
It's not sunny in it anymore.
No? You're behind the clouds?
Behind the clouds somewhere.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And there you have it. You want to say bye?
Bye.
Oh, it is a hot morning. I've already changed the color of this gray t-shirt from light gray to dark gray. But you know what? We are here at the honeymoon of go-kart tracks, Newcastle Motorsports Park.
The morning walk with Dad.
And today's one of those days where I had a different topic in mind, and I got to thinking about the topic of perspective. And I realize sometimes you've got to take lemons and make lemonade. 60 seconds of anger costs you 1 minute of happiness, all that good stuff. But I think there's macro perspective and there's micro perspective. And today, when you're 1.2 seconds in qualifying off of what you ran yesterday, it's okay to be a little bit frustrated, to be just a little bit angry, because if not, you don't have that passion and it doesn't make the good times worth anything. So there are times to say, take your perspective sayings and shove them. And that's what I'm feeling right now. But in the big picture, I realize I've got a couple of friends with cancer, liver problems. I'm blessed to be out here. I'm blessed to be doing a morning walk, have my family, all that good stuff. And I realize it, right? When I get away from the track, that's fine. But right now, 1.2 seconds off of where I was yesterday, my perspective is not very good on what I need to do to go out there and do better. I've got to find something, and right now, I don't have a good idea. So anyway, we're going to try to get back to our macro perspective as soon as we can. You know, on a day like today, I'm an Old Spice guy, and we love to have people come down to the Stahl Racing hospitality tent, but today it's better off that you don't, because the Old Spice stick, though I'm satisfied with it 98% of the time, I'm really not fit to be around. So I'm not blaming the Old Spice stick, I'm blaming 98% humidity and 91 degrees. So we're ready for this race. That'll be a long tough one.
Go ahead and fill you guys in on qualifying. Not good. Not good. Didn't play the game well. Ended up 9th. So I mean, it could be worse, but I know I had every bit of the top speeds, but that's what, you know, I got to prove in the race, I guess. Got starting, I think he's 10th, so he'll be right next to me. And practiced with him yesterday. We were just stupid fast, especially him. So ideally, work together and move forward and see what we can do. Kart, man, it just, it was so disappointing to get 9th because of how good that kart is. I'm running out of adjectives or superlatives. What's that one? Is it superlatives? Yeah, superlatives to use, because I just rave about it every week. But it's so genuine. I friggin' love that kart right there. Now, just gotta get the elbows out a little bit. Gonna have to be a little aggressive. All right, Dad. So we didn't show it on camera because we don't have Maddie, who does a lot of our filming for us. But we had found an issue, right? So we adjusted your front end alignment. That was crazy off. But you changed out the engine because you had thought maybe you were down on power because you weren't hitting the limiter. Right. Then what did we find?
What you always find when you think it's the engine, it's either an axle or a brake, and in this case it was the brake. We should have looked there first.
That seems like that's your mantra.
It's a philosophy I state a lot but don't live by. Do as I say, not as I do.
His brake pad, this bolt connects to the brake pad, it's threaded, and the brake pad itself had stripped out, so the bolt came loose and allowed the caliper to stay out more and drag the brake. And as we've learned, dragging the brake makes you go slower. So now, Dad should be a rocket ship. Shout out to Corey and Amber, aka Camber, Camber Racing, for the shirts. Dad and I both got one. We're in the club, and really appreciate it, guys. Very nice.
We love the
gesture.
shirt. The only thing is, I told Amber this morning, or no, I told Corey, shirts make you sweat. So here we go, Masters Final, KRA number 9. I'm starting 19th out of 22, so I didn't qualify all that well. I'm following one of my favorite people out there, Dan Monson, and we don't get a great start on the inside line. The outside line had some karts go in front of us, but if you haven't had a chance to meet Dan and Scott Monson, you really need to seek them out. They're great guys. They get the sport. They know what it's about. They genuinely love it. They're clean racers, and just their enthusiasm is contagious. Just love seeing them at the track, and it's fun to watch the two of them. They kind of alternate on who has the best kart. But anyway, following Dan here, and I think we're getting slowed up a little bit by some folks in front. There's a pack of karts that I was really hoping to get to, hoping that I could track them down, because I had a much better kart than 19th. You can see there I tried to give Dan a push, thinking maybe he'd get into the hairpin there, and ended up kind of kicking me out. And so now when he pats on the helmet for help, I'm not there. But we're heading down to the 70 hairpin. It gets a little interesting here. The 11 stays aggressive, gets into Dan a little bit, so I try going to the inside, and he sees me there and gives me some room. And so now Dan and I are off to try and catch the pack in front of us. Kart was really good. on this date during the race. Found something that I hadn't had, but right there you can see the pour line in the scoreboard hairpin. That killed me all day. May have been a good thing there because it allowed me to avoid Todd Davis, who had a great qualifying run. Hated to see him going backwards there because I was hoping he could run up front. But got a good run off the 70 hairpin here, and I'm able to make a move on Dan on the inside, clear him, and heading off now for John Vaudero. Next guy in line, and here again I get a pretty good run off of 70. I swerve wide to try not to bump him. Cost me a little bit, probably cost me a little too much. Hoping to pop out and do the same thing that I had just done to Dan. Could have probably pushed it there, but decided to back off. John's a good racer, and he deserved the benefit of the doubt there. Heading in here into the green corner, we get bottled up. This is the group in front that I was hoping to catch. I think that's Scott Monson, and I think my buddy Tony's up there somewhere, and Jeff Munch. John had tried to make a move, and I went outside, wasn't sure which way to go there, and was able to hold on. He saw me at the last minute, able to hold off. Going down here's a piece of terrible driving. I'm chasing down Jeff Munch in that group in front, and really thought maybe I'd have a chance. So I tried to make this move going into turn 3, and I went way too narrow and killed the curb. About allowed John to get by me here. In fact, it sets him up for a pass coming up later in the segment, but it really cost me my chance to get up there and race with Scott and Todd, or Scott and Tony. But John tries to get me here on the inside. I saw him coming, gave him room, and fortunately was able to hold on to some momentum here on the outside and finish in front of John. Never did get to Jeff, Scott, or Tony. It was fun watching them race. They raced hard the whole race, and I really wanted to be a part of it. Just couldn't quite get to them. Too many driving mistakes, fast in some parts, not good enough in others, but it was a fun race.
So Kacy, how was it physically on somebody that, I mean, role model being your dad, darn near 60 out here, comes out, doesn't even really seem to be sweating.
In the final corner.
You seem to sweat quite a bit. I mean, what's the difference there?
Well,
I imagine probably about 3 seconds a lap.
You're 3 laps in. Alpine Zane running second car.
Well, here I am starting 9th. Disappointing qualifying effort, but what is really new? So I'm starting behind Evan, Ryan, and then next to Blurface here. Kind of botched my start a little bit, but luckily Blurface there didn't duck down in front of me, so now he's pinched to the inside and I'm able to carry more momentum. But then I catch this curb, and that could have been bad, but luckily all was well. Just kind of got into Ryan, so then he goes down low on the 20 here. I decide to follow. Props to 20 there, because on cold tires that can be tricky. He did a nice job here. I'm gonna throw it in on Ryan. Ryan does a good job hanging strong on the outside there, carries the momentum and maintains the spot. Then a couple laps later, you'll see Evan here in front of me, and he's just, you can tell that the kart's a little bit of a handful for him right now. He's looks a little loose. So get a run here into turn 4, and Evan looks like he's going to be able to keep the spot, but my buddy Blurface back behind me gave me a nice little bump around him and helped me get that position. So Evan stayed behind me, and the dude was the perfect pushing partner. He was the reason that we were able to go forward. Like, he just did a fantastic job pushing, and we were able to catch up to karts as they fell off the lead pack. And here's Dustin right ahead of us. He had kind of lost that lead pack, and so was on a bit of an island. And so we're tracking him down, going down towards I-70, trying to close up that gap some. And with these long straights, it's very important to have a pushing partner. And so that, again, that's why I give so much props to Evan. Instead of fighting, deciding to work and try to move forward, it's very beneficial. And so here we're just following Dustin here. He has a little bit of a slide there, wide on 3. and I can tell his kart doesn't look like it's a lot of fun for him right now. I thought about taking a look there, but decided otherwise. So right there, I force him low on entry, and then kind of do the same thing. Basically, it worked out really well. None of that was planned, but I was really happy with how that turned out. Just kind of the forcing him to the inside of ultimately that hairpin, and then with Evan's help, got to push back by him to take the position. And so here I'm sitting in 6th, and we're coming in on Ryan. I got to think Ryan might have been geared a little bit too much of a high ratio, because we really closed in on him there. So here I'm going to try to set him up for a pass, go low, and Ryan just tucks in behind, and now I move into 5th. Here on the last lap, this is I-70, coming out of I-70 down the long straight, and the start-finish line isn't where it normally is. Usually it's on this straightaway here. It's actually after what's normally turn 1. And so I kind of went low. I thought, okay, I'm good. I had no idea Evan was coming up, man. He had a gear on him. So I end up finishing 5th there, and very happy with that race. Had a good time.
Just take a gander at this nice dark gray. There's actually, I don't know if the camera may not pick this up, but there's actually shade. So obviously this is natural shirt. This is lighter, and then it gets real dark. Belly button area, it gets real dark over here. But you can, it's just, there's a gradient of sweat. I'll even show you guys the back, because I'm sure you want to see that. Can't see that myself, but I'm assuming it's about the same. It was, with the kart being as tight as it was, and it was hot, man, that was some of the most physical driving I've done in a while. Pouring sweat. But Dad, the balaclava definitely helped. Yeah, balaclava worked like a sweatband, so I didn't have near the sweat dripping in my eyes like I had in practice yesterday. So I guess a pro tip there. It is time for the singular sticker ceremony for the helmet. We got Dad choosing. He's going right to the cute animals. I'm all about cute animals, Kacy. Kacy, I should go into a long-winded thing like your fan club does, but I'm just gonna say, you weren't a turtle. You weren't the fastest today. Made a gear change, probably shouldn't have. Didn't have much of an option. But I thought during the race you drove, you made some good moves. You were sly like a fox. Very foxy. Very foxy. There we go. There you go. You know what? You're never going to get this thing covered unless you get your fan club growing back. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. Or I start winning more races. That's true. Those take up a lot of space. Well, it was a fun weekend, guys. Hot, sweaty, busy, but overall I think a good one. Dad, you made up six spots for the old man. I made up 4, and it was a good points weekend for me. Oh, I haven't told you guys, so for those of you still watching, I am currently leading the championship. At least before this race I was leading class championship, so I'll try to start keeping you guys updated on that. Dad's not quite leading, but he's making a comeback. Yeah, we're waiting on that. Yeah, it was great. And again, Corey and Camber, thank you for the race, or for the shirts, and we'll see you guys next time.